Happy Sunday wherever you are today. I hope this video finds you well. So if you watch my last video, you'll see that you'll see, I had a birthday and it was wonderful. Lots of nice wishes. I really enjoyed it. Presents, the whole 9 yards, including cake, which actually got me thinking about today's video. So here's what I mean. So one of the things that my lovely son did for me on my birthday is that he arranged to have a super nice cake made for me by actually one of the women who attends our church. Now we attend a more traditional church, and the women are, well, they're equipped with all of the traditional skill sets that women of yesteryear had. They're excellent cooks, bakers, gardeners, seamstresses, housekeepers, mothers, and they have other jobs too, but those jobs in particular, they're really good. And my son arranged to have a cake made for me, which was a mocha cream cheesecake with some kind of ultra decadent lower crumbly layer. Bottom line, it was pretty good. And even better because it wasn't made in some commercial kitchen by, someone who's making 100 other of the same that day with a lot of machines and maybe even more chemicals. Pretty natural, pretty tasty, pretty good. So I got that cake. And initially it was funny. This is where it's important to, I always stress if you look at my other videos, to separate yourself from avoiding temptation versus resisting it. And so when I had this cake, I had a slice and I was like, oh yeah, it's a good cake. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to slice several slices and I'm going to put it in the freezer and I'm going to have it over the next 12 weeks. Needless to say, it's a week later and the cake is gone. But there is something about that whole experience that sunk home for me. I was getting ready this morning, getting dressed, and there's a shirt that I like to wear, and I went to put that shirt on, and it was a little too snug. And so immediately I knew what the truth of the matter was in regarding to having that cake, and there was no resisting it. I had to make a decision to do something about that. And so, it got me thinking about today. I heard an expression on a show I was watching this week, and that expression or that phrase was, truth is not something that you can be told. It is something you have to realize. So, here's the drill. I'm eating the cake all week and I'm justifying it. I'm like, I'll walk a little more, I'll do this. But I essentially was having something I don't normally have. And, the end result of that was that, I clearly put on a little bit of weight in a place that was very obvious with the shirt. Now, I'm not one who's going to go step on a weigh scale and things like that in a fanatical way, but when something doesn't fit right, I know that it's time to do something about it. And that is a truth that no one had to bark at me and say, hey man, you're getting fat. And you might not even notice it on me because I tend to carry my weight well. But that barometer of that shirt that didn't fit very well, that was the giveaway. So that was a truth that I had to realize. And so I started thinking about all of the truths in our society that, if you refer in my video catalog to the How Dare You video, there are often truths that people will be told that because they don't have the benefit of actually critically thinking that through or having experienced the other side of that, they will dismiss that truth because of a truth that they've already imprinted on themselves. So, for example, this morning I was watching, I don't know, I got up early and I was watching a feed. It was, this is not to slight any particular kind of people or anything like that, but there was a show called My Big Large Life. I won't use the F word, but My Big Large Life. And it's about this girl who is, her body mass is a little larger than the average. And the show, it's a reality based show, and it's all about how she lives her best life and does her thing. But this particular episode was lamenting how she had a terrible time dating. She was, she's like, I went on all the apps and I was going crazy, just replying to everyone, and I just couldn't get any traction. And in this particular episode, she was dealing with a matchmaker who, after dealing with all of this, the matchmaker just basically bluntly came out and said, well, have you considered doing something about your weight? And of course, immediately, how dare you? How dare you come after the one thing that I could do that would radically change the game? And it's almost kind of absurd because it is absolutely true. No matter what happens to you, no matter what information you embrace as truth, if the evidence begins to show that it's not truth, this really separates those people who want to get better versus are angry about things changing. And the only problem with being angry about things changing is that there comes a point when things have changed and you're just left angry. So, again, I'm in my room. I put on this shirt. It doesn't fit. I've got two choices. I can either put the shirt in the back of the closet, like so many of us do, thinking, oh, one day I'll wear it, and then continue not to do anything about what I've just observed, or I can do something about it immediately. So wander down to your local Walmart or your grocery store, things like that, and you notice the number of people in our country who go shopping in leisure wear. And they're going shopping in leisure wear because they have decided that truth is not something they want to embrace. They would rather justify unhealthy habits, and it will begin to snowball. Because you see, if I don't do something about this now, there'll be other areas where I will start to slip. I'll have that extra order of fries. I'll have an extra donut. I'll have an extra ice cream cone. I'll walk a little bit less. I'll swim a little bit less. Stuff like that. And eventually because there was a time in my life which I was actually a lot heavier than I am now. And who knows why that is, childhood issues, whatever. But back then I embraced some truths that said, oh, this behavior is not going to be connected to healthy living, so I've got to change it. So like I said, I had to make a decision about the truth that was facing me down. But one of the things that a person can do critically, and again, review all my videos. I'm really pushing for you guys to sit back and look at yourself critically, not with a lens of being mean to yourself, but actually this is the lens of being as kind as possible to yourself. So think about all the things you're doing right now. Of course, the things you're eating, the people you're hanging out with, the places you're going, the thoughts you're thinking. Think about all those things and say to yourself, if I don't change any of those things, what is my outcome going to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years, when I'm a senior citizen? Is it going to kill me? I have a friend who's in medicine, and they work on the cancer ward of a hospital. And I've now and again I have said to them, what are people talking about in the cancer ward? And the cancer ward is things like, people got lung cancer or cancers that are brought on by bad habits. Lung cancer, smoking. Or skin cancer, being a sun worshiper, or you know, whatever. The point is that the common lament with all these people is that if they could change it all, they would. They absolutely would. And so when I'm watching this show about this girl who's having this big, large life, she can have the big, large life, but statistics prove that that big, large life is going to be shorter, have more medical problems, and she's not going to have the romantic connections that because, the show goes further and she talks about her type, 6 foot tall, six pack, six figures, fast car, the kind of guy who would not actually make sense with who she is. I mean, a broken clock's right twice a day, and there may be an exception, but I don't know. Why look for a needle in a haystack when you can look for a needle in a pincushion? So, when you think about all the things you're doing right now, and a good barometer, if the things you're doing right now are the things you want to be doing, is how successful, what kind of success are you experiencing? So when you're sitting at your desk, are you sitting and you're doing your job, or whatever, you're going, oh my God, this is amazing. I love this. I can't just believe how wonderful this is. Now, you might be doing that a couple days a week, but maybe the couple other days a week because there's some aspect of the job that you don't like. Is there something you could change? If you're going on a date with, I don't know, some dude that is a carbon copy of every other dude who hasn't worked out, and you're sitting across the table and you're like recognizing that this person is going to be nothing more than a placeholder so that you don't feel alone, or and you're going to have to put up with all kinds of, weirdo behaviors in them and you as a result. What does that look like in a year, 5 years, 10 years? As you're standing there at your fridge and you're sticking your finger in the jar of Cheese Whiz, and you decide to finger out the Cheese Whiz jar, half of it as a meal substitute. I don't know, what does that look like in a year, 5 years, 10 years? You're about to go to bed and you've got to wipe the Cheeto dust off your chest. And you come clean up your living room and there's half bags of chips everywhere, and other mess because mess breeds mess, right? Maybe pet hair or maybe just general disarray. What does that general disarray look like in 5 or 10 years? So, like I said, these are truths that you can realize. But no matter, over the pandemic, I was jumping up and down on my head about certain interventions that the truth for me became obvious, not so much for others. And that's fine. And maybe that truth has come around now, and I'm grateful for that. Another example, and I've used this one before, I worked in the telecom industry in Canada when it became deregulated. Much like in America, when there was a time in America you could only get your phone from AT&T, but then MCI and Sprint and all those other guys came in, and people could save money. There was a time when I started working in that business, Bell was our AT&T in Canada, and people were it was like they were zombies. They were like, no, we can only get our phones from Bell. And it took 5 to 10, maybe even now, you could probably find some old person who's still paying. I know one old guy who's paying like $200 for basic cell service or phone service and some basic cable, and he get the same thing in a secondary basis for like $60. But he hasn't embraced that truth. So, in the final analysis of my video today, everyone, as I begin to think about what I'm going to have to do to allow that shirt to fit. Yes, I got up and I swam and I just got out of the pool now, and I'm only having one meal a day till that shirt fits. But as I have embraced the truth that I'm at a crossroads. I'm at a crossroads. If I don't do something about this now, it's going to make it harder to deal with it later. And dealing with something early is better than dealing with it late. And so if you're at a crossroads right now, maybe you have recognized you've got some patterns. Maybe you've recognized you've got some habits. Maybe you've recognized you've got some associations. Any of the above. Maybe you've recognized that those relationships or those connections in 5, 10, 15, 20, in your senior years are not going to work out. Are you going to keep doing them? Are you going to keep doing them? Are you going to keep thinking that way? You're going to keep doing that stuff? Or are you going to embrace truth? Thanks everybody for watching the video today. I appreciate it. Just a lazy afternoon at home, sitting around doing my thing. If you have any comments, leave them in the comments section. That'd be awesome. If you see my link from Facebook, if you could like it, if you want to like it, I'd appreciate if you'd like it on YouTube. That would be awesome. If you would like to see me, if you have a question about a concept that you would like me to do a video on, you are welcome to leave it in the comments or send me a private message. Maybe you already have an opinion on something, or maybe you'd like my opinion on it. I'd be happy to use that as content for a video. That's cool. But it's a wonderful trip we're on together, and I'm happy to have this exchange with you guys and help us grow and learn fantastic new things about being awesome, better people. So short of that, guys, have a good day, and I look forward to talking to you soon.